Never seen myself as a very cynical person. I think a lot of my disbelief, it's usually centered on limitation. So if somebody says you can't do something a certain way, you'll never be whatever, that's usually where I'm like, okay, I don't believe that. I'm very hopeful. Like I almost live in my dreams, and being asked to participate in the real world is where I get to play. But my dreams are where things are very serious. And now I'm at a point where I'm switching that mindset. So now I'm in a place in life where I have more freedom to dream of other things. So I'm still keeping my aspirations in the back of my mind, but there's more room to like add other things. And then in life is where I kind of have to add some restrictions to my day-to-day life. For the past couple of nights, I haven't been going to sleep before 3 a.m. I wasn't really sure what that was. I thought that was just me being mid-20s, wasting time, doom scrolling. But a lot of those nights, I was trying to spend them being productive in some sort of way. So it's like working on my art, trying to film my YouTube video, trying to write. And there's one night where it just like nothing was working. Like I've been trying to film a YouTube video and it just wasn't working. So I kind of gave up on that. And I have this cycle where it's like I try to do a video, it doesn't work. So I go back to writing because I know that writing is something I can get a word on a page at least. And so I did that. But a couple nights ago, I couldn't get a word on the page. Like, and I knew that something was wrong because I know that I'm capable of at least doing this. So why? Huh? Nothing I was thinking was making sense. I just heard something speak to me and just say, like, stop. And not stop as in, like, stop right now and go to bed. It just said, like, stop. And I have been on a surreal, life altering journey with God for this entire year. And so when I hear a small voice whisper and say, stop, I'm not going to argue. Something in my heart just said, just for the rest of the week, don't write anything. Excuse me? What? I just had to stop. Yesterday was the first full day where I didn't open my notes app. I didn't write anything in a Word document. I didn't write anything at all. No thoughts, no ideas, no additions to anything. And felt okay because that's how you always feel when you're following the word of God. When you're following an order, you feel okay at first, and then the sun goes down and you're all alone and you don't have your hobby anymore. It's just like, okay. And so I stayed up last night, and I stayed up and I was like, hold on, this is not the point. I'm supposed to be asleep because I'm also starting a new job. That's something I've prayed for. And so I want to prepare myself for that. I don't want to just go in and be tired. So this is my body actively working against a plan that I've set, which is to go to sleep early so that I can start retraining my body. I have not been in a position where I've needed to go into an office in, I think, 4 years. My last job was work from home. Amazing, but also not. So this is my first time stepping into an office in a long time. So that's a pretty big deal for me. I stayed up and I felt grieved and I felt like I needed to be mourning my free time because a part of my other jobs and why I was so grateful to work from home was because I felt like I didn't have enough free time and I felt like I was sacrificing myself for a company and I didn't like how it felt. Did a lot of work in that time, which now I can see was valuable. So that time was used for what it needed to be used for. But in the in the present in the present or the past, it felt like it was being wasted, and I was very hard on myself before I started kind of reforming my mindset. I was starting to feel that way again last night. I haven't started the job yet. I haven't I am still presently in like a rest period and it's coming to an end and I am mourning it. Okay, fine, but also not fine. I have prayed to be let out of this and now I'm entering this new season begrudgingly. That doesn't make any sense to me. So something else is going on. I didn't have any answers and I couldn't think of anything and I didn't want to think of anything. I just kind of wanted to feel let down, I guess. Um, and a part of that is me feeling like I'm existing in this duality where I'm getting everything I've ever prayed for so far. No, let me change that. I'm getting the things I've prayed for recently, but there's stuff I've been praying for a much longer time that I have an image of in my mind that I know I'm going to get, but I haven't gotten it yet. So it's like I'm getting the steps, but I don't have the full staircase. I don't have the full ladder, right? And the picture I have is of the full staircase, but I'm only at the first couple steps. And so it feels like I want to, in my heart of hearts, accelerate to having the full staircase because I've been looking up for so long that I'm at a point where I want to be able to look down and be like, we did it. We did it. We did it, Joe. We did it, Joe. But the thing I'm learning is, I have to climb the staircase to get to the top, and I don't want to do that. I didn't want to do that. I didn't want to accept that as I didn't want to accept the day to day of life. I just thought I could go to sleep, wake up, and I'd be successful and everything I ever dreamed of. And now that I have to come to terms with actually living, I find it hard on my physical body to accept the way that things are and the way that I know they can be and the way that people are telling me that things are and the way I can see the wrong in everything. Anyway, I woke up this morning because of that still small voice whispering to me. Not even whispering. I don't even want to say it's a whisper. It sounds plain as day. Like it's just not loud. It's not shouting. And all that was in my head as my body was waking up this morning was First Samuel chapter 1 verse 8. First Samuel 1 verse 8. First Samuel 1 verse 8. First Samuel 1 verse 8. And it wasn't as incessant as that because I heard it the first time, but it's like I kept repeating it because it's like, oh wait, it's like my brain caught onto something and I needed to remember it because I was actively waking up. Like, have you ever had sleep paralysis? Okay, just think of that as like a thought. Instead of like a physical sensation, it's a mental. There is something happening in your brain that I cannot release. And that's what was happening as I woke up this morning. And I didn't know what it meant because I don't know what First Samuel 1 verse 8 says in my sleep. And so I woke up, and usually the first thing I do is I read my Bible and I would usually journal. But this morning I just prayed and I'd watch a sermon. I just every single day. And doing that every single day since about May, sermons start to get a bit repetitive, which is fine because sometimes you need that kind of knocked in your head. But I felt like I was kind of starting to feel like how I felt when I was going to church every Sunday, where it's like they're selling me the same message and they keep telling me that I'm doing things wrong, but I feel like I am past the point of baby believer where now I want to learn more and I don't just want to be instructed. I want scripture to be interpreted and I want to learn from that. So that's kind of where I am because I feel like church guilt is very real and I don't need another thing telling me that you're doing something wrong, you're not praying enough, and when I know that I'm talking to God every single moment of my day. That's that. Um, so I looked up the scripture and it says, I don't even know where my phone is, but it is the beginning of Hannah's vow, and it is her husband. Gosh, I don't remember his name. It's her husband saying, why are you grieved? Why are you hurting? Am I not more than 10 sons to you? Right, so right there. I knew that. I knew exactly what I knew exactly what to feel. Okay. This was not supposed to be me explaining a scripture to you, but I feel compelled. It's Hannah is the woman who yearns to have a son. People are laughing at her and are making fun of her and are telling her that, you haven't produced what you're meant to produce. Like what's going on? What's going on, bro? Ha 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 ha. Um, and yet she has her husband. She has a dream life because she's loved. She has a husband that loves her, and that should have been sufficient, right? Because these are the cards you're dealt, and you're not in pain, you're not suffering, you're loved, and yet you're still grieving. You're still hurting because you don't have this one thing that you think you need to have. You don't have this one, I don't know. And after verse 8, she vows to God that just give me a son. Just give me a son and I'll give him right back to you. But just give me a son. And when you read that story, you're like, why would you want the son just to give him back up? Like, you don't get to raise him or be with him. What's the point of yearning to be a parent and not like owning your child, basically? But sister, I get you. And I think of it in my life, and I think of what I want to give birth to, my art. And I think of God asking me to stop and me stopping, but still being grieved and still feeling like, oh shoot, I really want to achieve this. And God asking me, am I not more than 10 works? Is being with me not more than, is the peace of being with me not more than the futility of achievement? And the answer is yes. It's great. Like being with you and the peace I have with God, I can is so profound that I can stop working on what I've been working on for years and not feel grieved because he tells me to stop, but because of some strange, mysterious other thing that I'm trying to understand. And in a moment of just sheer clarity, I realized that I want it not for the achievement, but because I've always wanted it. Why have I always wanted it? Because he put this desire in my heart, because whatever needs to come from my art is not going to be mine. It's going to be God's. And I have to be okay with that. And I am okay with that because I already have peace. I'm already climbing my own ladder, and my peace is secured. My peace is secured. But I also have an assignment, and I will never live blindly because that assignment is always in the back of my mind, right? And if I don't see me working this job as a detour, I see this as just another piece of the puzzle. Too many metaphors. I see this as another step in the in the staircase. And so I'm not upset that I have to go back to work. I'm not fearful that this work will become my life because it's just what needs to be the next step. It's just what needs to be the next step. And I think I am in this season of pruning and chastening because I'm getting so close to producing and birthing what I need to that um, I am worthy of understanding why. I was not smiling before this video, but yeah, okay. Okay, that's the first part. I have something else to talk to you about too. Hold on. I believe wholeheartedly, and I know that I'm not the only person who believes in God. Sometimes it really do be feeling that way. It really do be feeling that way, honestly, which is why I kind of have to I keep myself connected to the space on YouTube where people are saying sermons that make sense and resonate with me. I get my spiritual fix from my Bible, and if I get a supplementary word and I feel like it makes sense, sure, why not? And that's what the sermons are for me in the day. It's a way for me to meditate outside of my own mind. It's a way for me to feel like I am connected to something, like I am connected to God, who is the universe, but I'm also here on this planet, and other people are here on this planet, and other people are thinking what I'm thinking. And I don't. The amazing part is there are a select group of YouTubers that I enjoy. Right, I enjoy watching them because I know that they're gonna talk about stuff and say stuff that completely resonates with me with what I'm feeling that week. Like we are connected like this. Like we are sisters. We're sisters. Like they're in my brain. I know that on a Wednesday, on a Wednesday, that's a YouTube day. Okay, I know that I will be fed that day, and whatever I'm thinking from the past week and whatever I've struggled with, I know that they're gonna say something that's gonna hit so hard with my heart that it's like, yeah, you're my sister. Like, yeah, I get it. But something that plagues me. There is no media that I can think of where the main character, the main issue, has ever reflected me. As a 25-year-old Black woman, I don't know any other 25-year-old Black woman in my mediascape, whether that is traditional media or YouTube. I don't know. Yeah. And I think a lot of the people that I watch are older than me, or a lot of the people coming up now are like 22. It feels like everybody around me is like, not even around me, it feels like everybody I'm seeing is like 22. And everybody that exists online is older, like 27 up. There's nobody that sits in that middle space. And I've had the question of like, where are my age mates? I have no idea. But this is just a problem that has been bad from the beginning because I can ask myself over and over, I don't have a move. I can't name a movie. I can't name a TV show where the main character was ever my age with my skin tone. And that's the root of my problem. And so now the disparity is growing because I'm also growing and I'm becoming more disconnected from media because my image isn't there. We talk about representation, and I was someone who grew up in a predominantly Black culture in a country, not just culture, but country. And so when I was in high school, I couldn't fully grasp the importance of representation, because it felt like that's an issue that's so personal that if someone that doesn't look like me isn't in the room, I can't expect to be considered. And I was looking at it from that point logically. And it was like, okay, I can't expect to be considered if I'm not in the room. But that's not fair. That's not fair because I exist. And if you're going to write for a mass wide audience, this is like traditional media now. If you're going to write for a wide audience, why am I never a part of that like target audience? Or even if I am a part of that target audience, I'm never a part of that target audience, because if I watch something at 9 years old, let's say I really love Clueless, and I remember the day when my mom introduced me to Clueless, right? Dion, a black character, was not my age. Dion was not my age, right? Who can I think of now? I can't even. Okay, Ironheart. How old is she? Not 25. Not 25. Anyway, but to bring it back around, that's the context of where my headspace is, right? To bring it back around to YouTube. I have been watching YouTube since I was in 6th grade, right? That's when I was 11, 12 years old, and now I'm 25 years old, and I find myself now disassociating from the content I would like to engage in. And a lot of that is like the lifestyle girlies. I find myself, to no fault of them, but it is completely personal. You see someone achieving something great, and there's some people who, for that, it will hit them, and their interpretation will distort their view of that thing and turn it into envy, jealousy, bitterness. But I think there's another vision that kind of turns that into just a supreme sadness. And it's not a sadness that yearns to necessarily be in your exact shoes or to hold the possessions that you hold, but it's almost a sadness that yearns to feel what it's like to be okay, to be at peace, to actually achieve, and to not have to. Well, I don't want to add that part. No, just the peace of achievement. And I think right now, I try not to watch lifestyle content too much. Like you see, like how I say I have a Wednesday rotation where I watch those people, where I watch other people. I don't want to have a rotation where I watch lifestyle content, because I know myself and I know that my desire to achieve success is prone to corruption, and not corruption into envy or bitterness, but into when you have like single vision. Like if I'm in a bad spot and I see a bag that I like, my entire energy, my entire being will exist to gain that bag. Saying that out loud is crazy. That is a waste of potential. I think that's a waste of potential for myself personally. Time is what you make it. I personally don't feel like I have the time to detour in that way. You understand? I'm in a place in life where I have to take better control of my standards, my life, and my money to actually achieve the things that I see in my brain. And I have also accepted that my staircase is not straight up. So there are detours on the way, but there are detours within those detours, and I can't afford to dig a side hole when the way is already paved for me. I'm on a gap year, and this gap year has lasted, I can't even do math, so I can't even tell you. And I stopped school because I started working. And I was determined to start making my own money because I feel like a burden to my parents. I felt like that was the biggest problem at the time, and that's what I needed to fix. And I didn't have any vision to see past work or school. I had to grow out of wanting to blame everyone for my own sharp turn left. I wanted to blame my parents for making me feel like a burden. I wanted to blame my dad for making me take a student loan. I wanted to blame everyone around me for not telling me, hey, don't stop going to school. Even if you stop going to school, quit that job. Quit that job. I wanted to blame everyone for the decisions that I made when I was 22. I couldn't muster the energy to blame them. I don't know why I'm laughing. I thought this would have been like a serious conversation. I couldn't muster the energy to blame them, and so the only person that was left to blame was me. I had braces last year. Why? Why? I know I'm living with a perpetual toothache because I think having the braces, I've never had a cavity in my life. I think I have a cavity. I didn't finish my braces treatment because I was so terrified of going under in surgery because I thought God was ready to take back my life. So I thought he would have just killed me while I was taking my wisdom teeth. And so I took off the braces and I'm like, I don't want to do this anymore. First of all, I didn't want to do this in the first place. I was just yearning to be fulfilled. And y'all tricked me. Y'all tricked me. Y'all tricked me. You took all my money that I stopped school to work. I know I don't have any money. Anyway, yeah. I couldn't blame you see, I can't really blame them because it's my fault. It's my fault. What was I talking about? So I cannot sit here and look at the lifestyle girlies and be like, they should change their content. They should really represent the human race better. Stop. I needed to look into myself and say, why am I not producing what I want to see? Isn't that was my that's your whole major, like film production, like and I know God laughs at me because like what you went and you were studying a whole major when you could have just did this from your house, like. And you see, I truly can't blame the people around me because I think stopping school was divine intervention because that space was not good for my mental health and my connection to like expressing myself. No. But I constantly feel this tug to put myself in front of the camera and like not like be a martyr, but like at least contribute to show that 25-year-old girls with dark skin exist. Because I want to see more movies and TV shows with people that look like me, with people that are my age, talking the way I talk. And I took it upon myself to think that I needed to write those characters and write those people. But like, I have all the tools for it to just be me. Like, I have all the tools to just put myself out there and just like exist in this community. And like, if I want people to not feel the way I do, and I have the tools to stretch my limitation, why can't I be the one to start the conversation or at least add to the conversation in the way that I can and like bring my own unique voice to it? Instead of hating myself or like instead of feeling so lonely, do like do something, Daniel. Do something, like do something. My countenance has really changed while filming this video because before I woke up this morning and I was just like, okay, I was so happy for the message from God, but at the same time, I just felt kind of stuck. And one of the things I'm trying to like heal within myself is this feeling of being stuck, because I'm not stuck. I'm actively, I'm just waiting. Like, I'm waiting for my job to start week after next week, after Labor Day. I am, I'm waiting for my Amazon package to get here because I'm gonna braid my hair. And that was what that was gonna be the I had an idea that I just wanted to do that as a video of just braiding my hair, because every time I try to sit here and perform for Canon, it just doesn't feel real and everything goes wrong and my camera batteries die and I run out of storage and my microphone dies and now I'm here and I'm talking and nothing's going wrong. Divine intervention. Divine intervention. Divine intervention. And so I just feel compelled to not build a platform on suffering or like this constant go around of like, because you know what I get on my YouTube nowadays that I kind of have to ignore? This video is made for you. If you're watching this video today, this is made for you. August, whatever, this video is made for you. We're not gonna do that. We can't fall into that. We can't fall into that, because then that's almost giving people this false hope that watching your content is what's gonna pull them out of their slump or their confusion. And the only thing that can pull them out is their intention to want to be out. Right? And I think I have the evidence of pulling myself out of a life that would have killed me if I stayed. And I don't want to be the only one with that knowledge or that feeling. And I feel compelled to share it. And I didn't know how before. But I've always known how at the same time. And so I think this is just me proving to myself that I can be comfortable enough to speak without a script, to not need to perform, to actually execute. Because at the end of the day, the video is mine to make, but it's God's to use. Just like Hannah and Samuel, I have to accept that I really have no choice as to what I plan and what gets put out, because there is something higher than me working, and there is something that needs to be said from me that needs to get out there. And this is the first time I've actually like obeyed without restriction, without a back and forth. And this is the first time I've been able to get through a video without feeling sad and frustrated and confused. And I don't know what's gonna happen outside of this after this. I don't know what's gonna happen to this, but I know that I'm gonna take up the camera again when my Amazon package gets here with my French curl braids. And if you're not supposed to see it, then my bad for making false promises, but I'm only human. I'm only human. And I love you.